Hi folks, this is your MWIS planning outlook with our latest extended forecast. The general pattern for the week ahead is looking rather unsettled again, as low pressure over the Atlantic is set to dominate. High pressure to the east on Saturday is giving most places a dry day, though some bits and pieces of patchy rain up the west coast of Scotland, some light showers in places. These will tend to fade. Low cloud across some of the hills in the morning in south-facing areas will tend to lift and break. A blustery day though, a south to southeasterly wind that will be very gusty in places, especially around some of the higher western mountains, and that will strengthen increasingly through the afternoon onwards into the evening and night, with gales extensively across higher terrain. Temperatures will be trending milder compared to recent times with that southerly flow. There'll be some sunshine around, but a lot of hazy high cloud covering the sky as well. Sunday sees a weather system swirling to the west of Scotland, a south to southeasterly wind, gale force extensively across the mountains, severe gales across higher Scottish tops early in the day. Those strongest winds will tend to ease down gradually, although it will remain blustery across the hills and mountains all the way through the daytime. A cold front pushing in from the southwest will bring bursts of rain increasingly widely as the day goes on. A few spits and spots earlier in the day with a weak warm front just draped across the country pushing northeastwards as well. Some heavier and thundery bursts though breaking out as we head through the daytime, those pushing north and east increasingly with time. Later breaking into showers as cooler air arrives into Wales. That cool and showery theme will take us into the start of the new week. Low pressure circulating to the west of Scotland. Showers will merge into some longer spells of rain at times across more western regions. Further north and east, a few dry hours, particularly in the morning, but showers will tend to develop more widely onwards into the afternoon. And some of these heavier bursts have the risk of some hail and thunder in the mix as well. A windy day again, south to southwesterlies, gale force across higher mountains, particularly in Scotland. Strongest of wind speeds typically across mountains nearer to the west coast. Temperatures overall will be on the cool side then, a distinct wind chill factor in exposure on higher terrain. Tuesday maintains our south to southwesterly pattern, the previous area of low pressure pulling away towards Iceland, but a further frontal zone pushing in across western regions may just focus its energy further across Wales and the southwest, but still the risk of some rain in across Cumbria and southwestern parts of Scotland. Further north and east across Scotland, a greater chance of staying drier and brighter with some sunshine coming through, and Pennine areas too may not do too bad, but just that risk of some rain encroaching further in from the west with time during the day. Temperatures again a little bit on the cool side. Those temperatures will be near or a little bit below the seasonal average for the week as a whole across more western regions in particular. The warmth for the time being very much focused across Eastern Europe and up into Scandinavia. Through the middle of the week, high pressure and that warm southerly flow stays out toward the east of us. We're though feeling the effects of the Atlantic weather systems, and it's just areas of low pressure continuing to bring spells of rain, showers and some strong winds as well. So a rather unsettled trend continuing onwards to the later stage of the week, and most likely through next weekend as well, as just various centres of low pressure continue to dominate across our part of the world, and some further systems always just joining the party coming in across the Atlantic on the jet stream. So a continuing unsettled trend very likely through to next weekend. There'll be some brief drier moments in there, but most days bring that risk of some areas of rain. Now, there is quite a bit of uncertainty in the forecast modelling beyond the middle of the month in terms of seeing improvements in the pattern. This particular chart that we usually show you has been backing that story up as well, but it has drifted to a more pessimistic solution, at least through that third week of September, maintaining the blue colours here and therefore the lower than average pressure and still being rather unsettled. Now, that could be dominated by what looks to be quite an active spell of weather at the very beginning of that period, potentially even a stormy spell coming through for a while. And then an improving trend as the week goes on, so I would still hint toward the idea of more favourable conditions emerging in that third week of September. Some forecast models go quite a bit more optimistic still, must be said, with higher pressure trying to build, so that is open to some question still for the moment. Improving trends, but we need to watch that carefully to think where we go with that week. And the trend toward the end of the month would put higher pressure toward the south, low pressure relatively weaker, shown toward the northwest, but that would still be a southwesterly airflow pattern, which would bring some rain at times, particularly towards northwest Scotland, drier conditions further south and east on that sort of pattern. That middle part of September then is just teasing us for the moment. Before we get there though, it does look a rather unsettled trend over the next week or 10 days. That is your planning outlook. Thanks for watching. Bye for now.